Hello and welcome to the 12th episode of Cheap Ass Gamer. Today's review might surprise you. It's it's quite different from what you're probably used to seeing. You'll see what I mean soon. As for the minigame preview, it's another one of those old-time games I used to play a long time ago. Just one word of warning, the gameplay was recorded rather slow in the second game. It is supposed to be twice as fast, but I couldn't seem to speed up the gameplay without ruining my voice by sounding like a chipmunk. So keep that in mind when watching. Enjoy the reviews. Postal 2 was a controversial first-person shooter, where people were put into an everyday life situation, like picking up your paycheck or buying milk, but tossed in mindless violence and gore on the way. And frankly, it's quite fun. Eventually, they tossed in multiplayer. I thought, yay, now I can pick up milk with a friend and mindlessly shoot cops, and that was not sarcasm, by the way. Although, no. The multiplayer is just the typical deathmatching, capturing flags and whatnot. And frankly, the multiplayer portion of the game really does show the uglier side of the game. Mainly the crappy weapon handling. Now, the multiplayer has been released for free, so how's it hold out as a free game? Well, let me put it this way. I'm going to put as much effort into this review as Running with Scissors put into the multiplayer side of the game. The level design, it's okay. The weapons, they just suck. Seriously. They are unbalanced and no fun to use. Sure, they're cool and original when you're playing single player, but they just handle terribly. It's just not as apparent when you're shooting civilians and cops. The lack of reloading makes it less strategic and more spray and pray, even if there is heavy recoil. And the assault rifle, for one, is completely useless. It takes forever to kill anyone, and they just turn around and kick or shotgun you, and bang, you're dead. It seems Running with Scissors are trying to sell the game, well, by sell the game I mean just make you download it, on humor alone. For single player, it works. It's a funny game and everything, but for the multiplayer, it's just immature. The flags that are placed by prostitutes, and the announcer will scream things like, "The enemy bitch was snatched," "The enemy slut was dropped," "The enemy whore was returned." Sure, you'll giggle the first time you hear it, but it's just juvenile and does not make up for the terrible gameplay. And you can pee on people. To be fair, the deathmatches are bearable and notably more fun than team-based modes. At the very least, the weapons are easier to get to. But still, they're mediocre at best. Also, one thing I did forget to mention, almost all servers require you to download a whole bunch of levels and mods before you can join the game. Which is surprising considering how few players there are, and frankly, joining a server is just not worth all that wait. Now, I am a huge fan of the single-player portion of Postal 2. And I do suggest you buy it, but frankly I think it was a boneheaded decision for Running with Scissors to release the multiplayer portion for free. Because if this was my first impression, I'd never even consider paying money for Postal 2. I dare say it's the single worst online multiplayer first-person shooter I have ever played. So, to rate the game, overall quality, I'm sure you can guess it's not going to be 5. It's just 1. I'm sorry, I couldn't get into this game at all. Low spec, I suppose it's a 3. It works quite well. It is on the Unreal Engine as opposed to the Quake. It should work. Anyway, overall suggestion, don't even bother, seriously. Frontline has been around for a long time. It's another one of those freeware games I used to play long before I was into the whole multiplayer thing. In Frontline, you're a blue stickman. Your mission is to go right. As you go right, pink stickman will appear and try to kill you. And you gotta use your pistol, assault rifle, shotgun, sniper rifle, and grenades to kill them. You can also defend yourself using a riot shield. You have these guns all along, but must purchase ammo on the fly by right-clicking the gun in the HUD as you play the game using the score you get from killing the enemies. All guns work as expected, with headshots being rewarded when using the sniper rifle. As you go further along, things do change slightly. At first, enemies will appear just from the right side. After so many meters, they will also appear from the left side, and they will also airdrop in at some point, and you even have to survive an onslaught of fire from a helicopter. There's also a reward badges system, basically achievements, long before they were on 360, which is cool. So there is plenty of replay value there. Overall, this game is highly suggested.